Dear learners, welcome in Lesson 4 in our course English for Science and Technology. Today we're going to talk about common sentence problems. We talked about clauses, how to join them into full correct sentences that express logical relationships. We also expressed how to eliminate repetition in sentences by using relative words in relative clauses. Last time we enhanced clarity of our sentences using parallelism or parallel structures. Today we're going to address the remaining sentence problems that you might encounter. By the end of the lesson, you are supposed to identify and correct common sentence problems in your own writing. Specifically, you are going to be able to recognize all sentence problems of all types, fragments, run-ons, also called comma splices, wordiness, also known as vague diction, logical frog, sentence shifts, commonly addressed as faulty shifts in tense, person, or voice. We're going together to be able to distinguish between types of sentence problems, where is the fragment, where is the run-on, etc. Identify and correct problems in sentences. Finally, compare sentences that demonstrate clarity, concision, and consistency. Example 1. Because the engine failed. So imagine you write a sentence like this. Because the engine failed. How do we call the fault or the, let's say, a problem in the sentence? It is called fragment. Why fragment? Because the sentence is incomplete. It is just part of the sentence. It is not full. What are we missing in this sentence is the first clause, which is the independent clause. We said that dependent clauses or main clauses cannot stand alone. That is why they don't convey meaning. Because the engine failed. What are you talking about? Example 2. The engine failed. The researchers were all surprised. The sentence seems complete, but it doesn't really make sense. We do not understand the relationship between the two clauses. You may notice that we have two clauses that are put together without any conjunction. The engine failed. The researchers were all surprised. So what is the relationship between those two sentences? We call it run on. The sentence doesn't stop. It either doesn't have punctuation, which it doesn't, or it is not joined properly with the proper conjunction, so we do not understand. I should say the engine failed, so the researchers were all surprised. Example 3. Due to the fact that there was insufficient amount of time available, the model did not come into shape. You look at the sentence, it is too long and it is full of extra words that we don't need. This type of problems is called wordiness. Too many words to express a small idea. You can use it in prose, in poetry, in English in general, but in technical English we don't generally have time for this type of sentences. The researchers analyzed the data and then they wrote the reports. What problems are we facing in this sentence? The sentence seems okay, but sentence shift in tense. Look carefully. The researchers analyze. Analyze is in the present. And then they wrote. Wrote here is in the past. Analyze is in the present. This reminds us of Parallelism, great. It reminds us of parallelism. We have no parallel structures. We call them sentence shift in tense, which is inconsistency in tense, which is faulty parallelism in verb form or verb tense. Without further ado, let's elaborate on each problem. Starting with fragments, they are incomplete sentences that lack subject, verb, clause, or even an incomplete thought. You start the sentence, then you don't know how to finish it, you leave it as such, and you say, you understand? No, in technical writing or technical English, we do not understand. You have to say it correctly. Do not miss any part of the sentence, otherwise it is fragment and incorrect. When the robot stopped, see, I look forward into the other part of the sentence, so it is fragment. How to fix it? Attach to an independent clause or add the missing elements. Always we fix fragments by adding elements, the very elements that are missing in our sentence. Let's revise the sentence or the example. When the battery died, the robot stopped. For example, you can fix it in a variety of ways or revise it in so many ways. I can say, when the robot stopped, and then I give another reason. I say, when the robot stopped, the delivery got delayed. For example, run-ons or comma splices are two independent clauses or more joined incorrectly. When I say run on, there is no punctuation at all. I need to put comma, semicolon. We learned about punctuation in complex and compound sentences. It is very important. If you don't put the right punctuation, the sentence might carry a different meaning. Or clauses that are joined just with a comma, we call it comma splice. Sometimes you don't put the conjunction at all and you put a comma. Here we call it comma splice. It is misplaced and it doesn't carry the meaning. Bear in mind that in English we do not join clauses with commas. The app crashed. Users were frustrated, like this one. This is a comma splice. We do not join two clauses with just a comma. You have to indicate the type of the logical relationship. Use a period. You can use two separate sentences, great, two simple sentences, or use a semicolon, or use a coordinating conjunction, which is the best way to join two sentences or simple sentences into one of two clauses. The app crashed, so users were frustrated. Here is a clear sentence. Wordiness, also known as vague diction or logical fog, are unnecessary or unclear words which obscure meaning in a sentence. So too many words stuffed together into the same sentence, while I can say it in rather simpler words, so we prefer in technical writing the simpler sentence or simpler version of a sentence. It is important to note that the model failed due to the fact that time was limited. This is a correct sentence, but not in technical writing. How to fix it? Eliminate fillers. Choose precise words. Why all these ornaments in the sentence? This is not poetry or some kind of, decorated writing. This is straight to the point writing. The model failed because time was limited. End of story. Clear, simple, doesn't consume time, doesn't make you think, what does the writer mean here? I don't get the main idea. Just keep it simple. Do not add fillers. These are called fillers. Like it is important to know that, or due to the fact that they are fillers. They add to the sentence. It has to be scientific writing. You want to express cause, so say it straight away. The model failed because time was limited. Sentence shifts are sentences with inconsistent tense, person, or voice. They are related to the lesson of parallelism. If you make mistakes in parallel structures, you're going to have a sentence problem called sentence shifts. You shift from one form to another. You're not consistent. When programmers design algorithms, we must also consider hardware limits. Where is the problem? Where did we shift exactly? And this is a very common mistake among you learners. Choose the same tense, the same person, the same voice. By voice, we mean active or passive voice. And maintain consistency. Consistency means you use the same structure all along the whole sentence or all along the whole list. How to fix it? When programmers design algorithms, they must also consider hardware limits. Why did you say we? You said programmers, you have to say they. I know you might think that you are a programmer and you say we as part of the programmers, but you cannot really say that because you are talking about programmers. If you want to include yourself, you have to say I as a programmer. And I don't think you want to say that because it's going to be wordiness. You say when programmers design algorithms, they must also consider hardware limits. This is correct English.